The No Grapes Theory, Part 3. To go underground is very difficult. Whatever made you unique as a person, you have to change all of that and become somebody totally different. You are out of contact with your family. Former BLA member, as I have stated in part 2 of my theory, I believe Tupac Shakur has gone underground. That does not imply going under the earth or anything of that nature. The meaning of going underground is what the above quote suggests, that a person must change himself or herself physically, mentally, and emotionally, including the use of false identification. However, one may suggest it may be a lot easier to just fake your death. Was Tupac shot September 7th, 1996? Yes. Did Tupac die September 13, 1996? No. In his song Hold Your Head from DK7 album, he says, "Running from the authorities until they capture me, and my aim is to spread more smiles than tears, utilize lessons learned from my childhood years." Note, every BLA member who has been underground has stayed put until they were captured. But this doesn't mean we won't ever see Tupac again, i.e. Mutulu Shakur, stepfather of Tupac, underground for 5 years until captured in 1985. Sekou Odinga, father of Yefeo Fula, underground for 12 years until he was captured. In that quote, did Tupac not say that he was going to utilize lessons from his childhood? If you recall, during his childhood, he was around members of the BLA, BPP, and RNA, Black Liberal Army, Black Panther Party, and Republic of New Africans. Another thing, Tupac often mentions in his songs conversations with comrades speaking Swahili. Does he really know how to speak Swahili? It is possible. Not to mention the likeliness of him being in Africa is very high, considering Comrade Geronimo Pratt, his godfather and once Minister of Defense for the BPP, now lives there. Or how about Cuba with Comrade Assata Shakur? But then again, that is where everyone would expect him to be. More than likely, Tupac is here, in the good old USA. Many things were reported about Tupac's death. Some things true, and the rest, of course, false. Tupac Shakur was shot 4 times in Las Vegas, Nevada on September 7, 1996, and died 7 days later on September 13th. Part of that sentence was correct. Tupac was shot. But it wasn't Tupac who died! The media failed, like usual, to report the more important findings surrounding this assassination attempt. How many people are aware of the plot to rid the world of Tupac Shakur? Not many. This plot was executed by Marion Suge Knight and financed and arranged by the highest-ranking socialites of corporate and political America, not to mention the aid of government agents, informants, and the leeway of the mafia. Tupac Shakur has always been active politically. Other than his art, acting and rapping, he was planning the rebirth of all underdogs in America. He devised a plan to transform the street thug into a street soldier. He noticed that no one in government wanted to deal with the problems in the urban ghettos. He realized the potential in the young men society had thrown away. He knew there was a way to change the mentality of those involved in the street hustle. I think gangs can be positive. It just has to be organized and without violence. He developed the code of ethics for all people engaged in criminal activity, drug dealers, gangbangers, etc., to live by with hopes of rebuilding urban communities eliminating black on black and all racial motivated violence, provide strength and economic stability into the community by maintaining black owned businesses instead of drug dealing, and he made plans to reform the education system. Tupac would frequently invoke the names of Mutulu, Geronimo, and other political prisoners in his lyrics. It was like their words with my voice, he said. I just continued where they left off. I tried to add spark to it. I tried to be the new breed, the new generation. I tried to make them proud of me. But at the same time, he did not want to be them. Their revolution, and in most cases, their lives too, were ashes. Tupac saw a problem plaguing his generation, self-distraction. In order to change the future, he needed the movement that would focus on some sort of law or codes people involved in crime could live by in order to eventually turn them into productive citizens in their communities. His movement is called Thug Life, Thuglife. It's an acronym for The Hate You Gave Little Infants Fucks Everyone. He believed with all his heart this movement called Thug Life had a chance. When the top gangsters began listening and telling Tupac they would follow his lead, this scared various parties of government. They saw in Tupac what they feared in Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, and others. They saw a revolutionary. Seeing how Tupac outlasted the media assault waged against him and how he was having a positive and powerful effect on inner cities all around America, they became intent on eliminating him. They wanted to do away with Tupac in a fashion that was old-fashioned, assassination, and guaranteed to work without any connection to them and the crime. That is where the entertainment industry comes in. The establishment, or powers that be, have more ties to the entertainment business than anyone. This plot involves agents, gangsters, CEOs, informants, politicians, and crooked cops, all working in conjunction to assassinate Tupac Shakur. The establishment, all the way down to the actual triggerment, underestimated Tupac's intelligence, prophetic instincts, and determination. Since the first shooting in 1994, Tupac received death threats after discovering money owed to him was not paid by Suge Knight. The connection between his known enemies and those he did not know was realized. I know you all are curious as to how Tupac Shakur fooled his enemies. The following is a section of the alive aspect portion of the theory. While researching his role, Tupac plays a heroin addict for the movie Gridlocked. Tupac spent a lot of time in hospitals visiting heroin addicts. It was a Bellflower Medical Center, 9542 East Artesia Boulevard, Bellflower, California, Los Angeles County, that Tupac met Devin Clark, a young man addicted to heroin and slowly dying of AIDS. Tupac, as well as other people at the center, were surprised at the strong resemblance the two of them shared. Tupac spoke with Devin, who admitted to being a longtime fan. He promised Devin he would return at a later date to listen to his story. Tupac would keep his promise as he returned to Devin, but this time he was aware of the plot on his life and wanted to include Devin in his plan to evade death. He asked Devin if he ever heard of a medical procedure called euthanasia. Tupac then offered Devin a proposition: give your life, which is gone already, for your family to have as much money as they need for the rest of their lives. At that point, Tupac told Devin about the plot on his life and who he believed was behind it. He explained that he wasn't exactly sure when the attempt would take place, but if he survived, he planned to go away, to fake his death, and he wanted to use his body to represent his own, knowing there would be no way to avoid the police from wanting to see his dead body. He told Devin he would be cremated so that after initial fingerprinting, they could never view the body again. It is my belief that Devin Clark accepted Tupac's proposition. Now, do you understand the clue on the inside of the Machiavelli DK7 cover with the 3 fingerprints? The coroner takes a minimum of 3 of the deceased fingers and fingerprints for an identification. You also see a fingerprint in the album Are You Still Down, Remember Me? This is also a clue to let us know he has gone underground. False identification. How did Tupac get his fingerprints on Devin Clark? It was not as hard as it may sound. Actually, the task was probably as easy as an egg of silly putty. Silly putty is a combination of boric acid and silicone oil and can be used to lift fingerprints. If you put silly putty onto your fingers and then carefully peel the mold and replace it on the hand of another person, it is possible for you to successfully plant your fingerprints onto them. Try it! It's kind of fun. You also need an ink pad. For Tupac, they used something very similar, a combination of boric acid, silicone oil, and liquid latex to form a very light clear mold in which his fingerprints were transferred onto Devin Clark. The mold has to be burned or melted onto the flesh. The BLA is more than capable of assisting Tupac, their prince. I've already proved that Commander John Thomas was in Las Vegas during that time, as well as many other underground comrades. This concludes the known parts of the No Grapes theory. If anyone has parts 4 through 7, please send me the info and I will make it into a video. And now to ride out, Northern Lights Nation, Sacrifice from the album The Diary of Santa Marta Remastered, available everywhere.
Many lost to pay this price. Tell me, what would you know about sacrifice? Bottom of this bottle, boozing, reckless talking. I'ma do it, chamber spinning, watch me prove it. Fuck the world and what I'm losing. Darkness running through my mind, faded pitches burn inside. Filter out the truth from lies and watch my lyrics make them cry. Bleeding on the creed, it's true, fiending for a joint or two. And I wish I could run away, cause staying here is killing you. And I can hear it when you speaking in your eyes, it's cold and weak. And I just felt you let go, just pretend you're still here holding me. Dying on the inside, cause I'm lost when I just get high. And I'm flying through this lit sky while I'm burning out from this light. So I'm talking to Jesus, and I'm praying he needs us. Cause one more door